dear viewer, and welcome to a recap video of my gaming experiences in 2019. I know it's late, but I still wanted to do this simply for the sake of archival. I did a video like this last year, and I want this to be a tradition. Except unlike last time, I'm not gonna make this my longest video yet and then stress over how nobody watched it. This time we're gonna be smart about this. What I'm going to do is I'll show you everything I bought and played last year, which includes both completely new experiences I had and also replays of the titles I haven't touched in a while. But for the sake of me not dying from exhaustion like last time, I'll summarize each game as quickly as I can in only a couple of sentences. All good? Then let's go. Mirror of Fate takes my most favorite aspect of Lords of Shadow 1, the atmosphere, and makes a 2D Metroidvania game with it. It's a great XBLA title with fun combat, inventive new abilities, immersive locales, and a lot of sadness. Absolutely one of the best games I've played all year. I wanted to love Resonance of Fate, but it really insisted on us staying friends. This game is way too bloody hard for its own good, and it really doesn't like explaining how it wants you to play it. A huge shame, the story, characters and world building were all incredible, but I just couldn't get along with its frustrating difficulty. For a game based off a meme, Alcia is far from the worst thing you can pick up on eShop these days. It's a harmless stress reliever, and I hold no shame in admitting I had fun with it, even if only for about an hour. I played this title for less than an hour and almost fell asleep. Crackdown 2 is beyond boring. Everything about it is tedious and joyless, from the way it looks to the way it plays. Not a good time. Pony Island is an excellent indie title about a haunted arcade cabinet made by Satan, because of course, that plays around with the idea of what games can be and is kind of a commentary on game development overall. With clever ideas and witty writing, it's an absolute gem of a game. I've talked about Underworld at length already, so to not repeat myself, I'll just say I've grown to like it quite a bit. May just be nostalgia at this point, but what are you gonna do? I also played the Wii version of this game, but the less I said about that, the better. Still my least favorite game in the Legend trilogy. It plays great, but when it comes to the story and characters, it's kind of empty. It's more focused on platforming, which I'm sure is what most people want, but Lara's personality is really underwhelming in this one. Decent atmosphere, interesting world building, intriguing story, but not very involving gameplay. Essentially a walking sim with stealth sections. It's a cool idea for a game, but I can't say I cared about it. It's okay, it's not bad. If you love ghost stories, you'll probably like it. I'm not into stealth games, but I took interest in this one because of its slick presentation. Thief looks great, even on 7th gen. I love the design of this world, it's so pretty. Didn't play it for long, but it seemed like an okay title. I might return to it one day. The infamous Tomb Raider reboot from 2013 remains a subject of heated discussion to this day. To me, it's a perfectly fine game. If I have absolutely nothing else to do, I'll play it. It's satisfactory, it's borderline enjoyable. I have no emotional attachment to it though. I'm not gonna surprise anyone here by saying this, but Too Human is the worst game I have on my Xbox 360. I don't believe that anyone who's worked on this thought they were making a good game. It's miserable. Bland art style, shallow combat, cringeworthy writing, just awful. Avoid. Lost Odyssey underwhelmed me. From all the praise JRPG fans showered it with, I'm not seeing what's so special about it. It has some cool narrative ideas, but its world and characters are so po-faced and uninteresting that I couldn't push myself beyond the first disc. I don't know what I expected from it, but whatever it was, I didn't get it. Saints Row the Third remains my favorite game in the series. It's stupid fun in its purest form. The writing is fantastic, the gameplay is standard but so enjoyable, and the batshit insane moments it puts you through are just as awesome today as they always were. I love this game. AMP3 was the first snowboarding game I've played in 5 long years, and it's a good one. Not the best thing ever, but I enjoyed it while it lasted. The physics are alright, riding around feels pretty good, my main issue is the lack of any sort of visual spectacle. It's always perfect weather here, which gets kind of boring after a while. Wouldn't have picked this one up if not for the fact Disney were taking it down from digital stores, for a while at least. I'm glad I did though, it's a fun old school platformer with a lot of charm, even if it's only 3 hours long. Not much else to say here, WayForward are good at making this kind of game. Operation Raccoon City is the worst game I bought for my Xbox 360. Too Human was free, this I paid actual real-life money for. Coming from a series that's always strived to create thrilling gameplay, there's nothing exciting going on in this game. It's neither tense nor satisfying to play, it's just a bog-standard boring shooter with monsters. Utterly dull. Resident Evil 4 remains a game I recognize as a very mechanically solid title that feels good to play to this day, but I still can't really say I love it. I just don't really like shooters all that much, and RE4's core gameplay does little for me. I like boss encounters in this game, but when it's hordes of the same boring dudes over and over, I'm just not that interested. Leon's hair still looks good though. I think I like Revelations a little more than RE4, mainly for its atmosphere. It's much more quiet and tense because you don't feel as overpowered. Even regular enemy encounters are challenging and the bosses are really tough. Revelations has its problems, but it's a very solid game. I spoke about this game before, mainly about how it irritates the piss out of me, and it has gone a little bit up in my estimation. SS Explorer is difficult but not impossible to enjoy. Having given it more time, I started having fun with it, even if I can't play it for long because swinging this little dildo stick around kills my wrist. Why, Nintendo? ZombiU is a bit on the boring side for me. It's a survival game with zombies and lots and lots and lots of walking without any interesting story to back it up, and I'm still figuring out what I think of it. It's not my kind of game, but I think I should give it more of my time. I've got some shocking news for you guys here. I think Minecraft is good. It's a good time sink, it consumes you and turns your blood into cigarette ash. I spent a lot of time in it, and while right now I'm struggling to find things to do, I'm sure I'll be back in it before I know it. Another game in the genre I'm not into. Shmups are not my thing, the Wonderful 1-1 made me hate them. This one looked like a good time, but sadly it's way too bloody difficult for me. Getting through the level is hard enough, but then it wants you to be nearly perfect to progress further, and I'm not willing to put the effort in. Ah, a shame. I'll be honest with you, I don't get this one. Nothing about Dead Rising is interesting or appealing to me in any way. It's drab and weird, and I couldn't care less about its gameplay or story. I found no reason to play it beyond the first half an hour or so. I have never seen such a brilliant idea wasted on a game as repetitive and unimaginative as this one. With a premise this stellar, Assassin's Creed should have been a masterpiece, and instead it's a mind-numbing slog that makes you do the same copy-pasted handful of missions over and over. What a waste. Dead Space is okay. Some people hold it as one of the better Western-developed horror games, but I think its horror is fairly generic. It's the same jump scares and gross monsters again, and I get easily desensitized to that sort of stuff. I also don't like space. Dead or not don't really matter. Still a good game though. As a huge fan of Severed, I was eager to check out other games from Drinkbox Studios, but sadly none of them impressed me as much. Guacamelee is alright, it's a typical Metroidvania that won't do much for you if you're not already into this kind of game, unless you really like luchadors. It can be fun, but it didn't blow me away. Shadows of the Damned left a good first impression on me, but as I played more of it, I liked it less and less. The basic gameplay loop is enjoyable, and Akira Yamaoka's phenomenal music is always a pleasure to hear, but it's the humor and tone of the story that just didn't sit well with me. The whole thing is very unpleasant to think about. Another way forward title, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, is, well, another solid old school 2D platformer. It's good, but it takes the gameplay a little while to start feeling properly enjoyable. It's well designed and challenging, so if you're into that, you won't be disappointed here. It might sound weird if you know me, but it's been a long while since I last played Bayonetta 1, mainly because it's a 15 gig download on Wii U for me, so I went ahead and grabbed a physical copy of it for the 360, right before they announced the remaster. Wonderful. This game is still fantastic and it looks great on the 360 to boot. High contrast really helps the colors pop. Good times. I remembered Alan Wake more fondly, but it didn't blow my mind this time around. I think it's because I've already experienced the story and the gameplay is fine. There's a lot of empty space with nothing to do here, and I felt more annoyed at that on this playthrough. It's still a really cool story with excellent writing of course, but some of its magic has kind of worn off with time for me. I've been itching to play Pandora's Tower for a very long time, and when I finally got a physical copy of it, I rediscovered my love for this game all over again. It's so good. Not for everyone, yes, but I hold a lot of personal feelings for it. Can't wait to cover it for my game shelf. Like with Alan Wake, I remember having more fun with Lords of Shadow 2 on earlier playthroughs.
Perhaps that was due to me being younger back then, but now I can clearly see that this game is kind of all over the place, with both its gameplay and narrative. There's a good game in there somewhere for sure, but as a follow-up to two great titles that came before it, I have to agree that it's quite underwhelming.
And those were the games I played in 2019. A mixed bag really, 32 games, which is an upgrade over last year's 21, but ultimately quantity over quality. Only 5 of them I thought were great, and 4 of those I've already played before. That's depressing. Regardless, I had fun summarizing my experiences with these games. I may have an inkling that 2020 will bring more positive moments. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.